coming back to school with me. We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson-Wood. I'm the board game teacher. Thanks for coming to the classroom. Today we're taking a look at Times Square by ThinkNoodle Games. So before I get onto the report card for Times Square, I just want to say a quick word about it. Times Square is like the younger sibling, the little brother or sister of City of Zombies here. Both games are compatible with one another, so if you have both, you can include cards from one into the other. But Times Square is a standalone game, and you can see it's a much smaller and therefore much cheaper version of City of Zombies, just lacking some of the components and things that City of Zombies has. So let me take you to the report card and tell you what I think of Times Square. And if you haven't seen my review for City of Zombies already, please look for the link in the comments section below. I have already done a review for City of Zombies, and so if you like Times Square, you might want to go and check out City of Zombies as well. For number of players, I give Times Square a B+. It's 1 to 6 players, so I like the fact that you can play solo, and playing up to 6 players makes for a really great center. It's great to accommodate large groups, well, large being 6 people, and I think 6 people might be a bit much for the game. I think you're probably going to find the sweet spot more with like about 4 people, but it's, like I say, it's great too that it can accommodate those different group sizes. For learning, I'm going to give this game an A. The amount of learning that you can do with this game in the way that you're playing with numbers and adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing these different dice. You're rolling 4 dice, 3 6-sided dice and a 12-sided dice. The 12-sided dice, for you math nerds, is a dodecahedron. And it's you're using the dice in different ways to come up with numbers to match the zombies. And it just, you have to play with the numbers. You know, well, if I add these and subtract these, multiply these and do this and this and this and this, I mean, that's the only way you're going to win this game. So it makes the playing with numbers fun, and it makes it in such a way that you are going to be learning by just practicing. And you know, if any kids want to complain to me about, well, it's math, well, would you rather be doing a math sheet, or would you rather be playing a fun game? So for that reason, I give it an A. Now, if you've seen my review for City of Zombies, I gave that one an A+. So the difference here is that City of Zombies on the cards had these little, in the bottom left corner, little skull symbols with a number, and that connoted how difficult the zombies were. So it was easy to adjust the levels of the zombies for whichever group that you wanted to work with. In this one, it doesn't. So you would need to go through and independently determine each zombie based on the number, whether you felt it was one that was too difficult for your particular group. So I just think that in terms of the learning and modifying for certain groups, I think City of Zombies cards were better, and I think ThinkNoodle, if you want to, for future editions of Times Square, consider that for these ones, I think that would be a great thing to consider, because it just makes it that much better for the modification of learning. For fun, I'm going to give this one a B. I think it's a fun game, and there's a lot going on with it, and the fact that it's got zombies is really appealing to a lot of kids and myself. I mean, I played this one on my own while I was at a conference when I had some quiet moments, and it's a fun game. I really enjoy it. Is it as fun as the City of Zombies? No. I mean, for the bigger box and what you're getting in there, there's a lot more going on with City of Zombies that just ramps up the tension, makes it more thematic, makes it more fun. But this is still a fun game. I mean, I enjoyed it a lot, and I know the kids enjoy playing it too. So for that reason, I give it the B. For time, I'm going to give this game a B+. I think this game is it runs into the same problems as City of Zombies in that it could have that analysis paralysis. I give the students a timer of 2 minutes, and if they can't think of anything within that 2 minutes, then that just means that they haven't done anything with the dice. So I find that helps to speed up the games. Now, where this game is better than City of Zombies is with the less components and things. It's going to take less time to set up, less time to clean up, and so therefore you get more time to play. So in this regard, this game is superior. For cost, I'm going to give this game an A. because like City of Zombies, I said, is I'm not sure how much this one's going to cost yet, but you know, when you compare the size of this box to this box, you know it's going to be significantly cheaper than the bigger one. So, and for what it's teaching and what it does, it's so worth it. I would highly recommend that any junior classroom gets a copy of this for their class. I know it says that well, I guess I don't know, I'm looking for it, aren't I? It says ages 7+. So, I mean, you can adjust it for different levels, so it could go to some primary grades, but I would probably more recommend it for the junior grades. And I think I would, as I say, recommend this for any junior classroom. If you can get a copy of this, and I know that in speaking with ThinkNoodle Games now, they said they are going to be coming to Canada and getting a North American distributor in the next couple of months or so. So that's something to look forward to, because I think this game is fantastic, and I think that every junior class should have a copy. Let's get this game to the table and see how it's played. So this would be a standard setup for City of Zombie times Square. Now, when you're playing, there's actually on the back of the rules here, you have 3 different modes of play that you can do, each of which is, you know, roughly the same way. In this one, I'm looking at game 1 here, so it's a 3x3 array, which you could, for increased difficulty, make into a 4x4 array if you are so up to the challenge. Or you can also make the difficulty easier by adding more of these items at the bottom, or allowing the items to be used more than once. In the game, what you are doing is you are rolling all of these dice. So there's 3 6-sided dice, 1 12-sided dice. You're rolling them all together, and you're going to use them in whatever combination you can in order to achieve these numbers. Now, obviously, in rolling these dice, there's no way I'm going to get like to 132 or 36 if I just add them. So I'm going to need to be a little more creative in the way that I use them, such as multiplication. So in looking at this, 4 times 3 is 12, times 2 is 24. I have 25, but there's no 25s here. So I can also take the exponents. So I can take 16, which is 4 squared, and 3 squared is 9. So 16 plus 9 is 25, plus 2 is 27, and then I multiply that whole thing by 1, and boom, I've got this guy. So because I used all 4 of my dice, there's no penalty for me, and I'm just going to flip this one over, and he stays dead. The object of the game is to remove all of the zombies as quickly as possible. So doing it, you can time yourself to see if you're able to beat your previous score. So I'd go again, and I have this, and 3 4 is 12, that's 96. Do I have a 96? No. And nice thing too is they have these targeting wheels. So the targeting wheels show you what you need multiples of. So if I need a multiple, so to get 88, I need 11 times 8. The 60, I've got the blue, so I can do 12 times 5, or I can do 10 times 6. Now, just to show you what can happen here, so if I do 4 times 3 is 12, and then times, well, what am I doing? I don't even have a 12 times 5. No 60s. 36? Yes, there we go. So if I do 4 times 3 is 12, times 3 is 36, then I've got this one. So in this example, one of these dice wasn't used. So when one dice isn't used, this was used to eliminate this guy, but one dice not being used means one zombie comes back again. So I'm going to flip it over and replace him with one more zombie. And so you continue. Now, if I have a particularly bad turn and I can't use all 4 dice, then 4 more zombies would be added, and so on. So this gets pretty interesting when you get down to the wire, when you get down to like just a couple of zombies, like so, and then you're trying desperately to see what you can do. 9 times 7, 63, 5 times 5, 11 times 5. You know, you're working like crazy to see what you can do to make this work, to get these zombies out that you need and to match. And if you don't, then suddenly they all just start flooding back again. But this is where you can use these powers. So if I could get to 44, which I actually can if I look at this, I have 8 plus 3 is 11, times 4 is 44, well, and plus 1 is 45. So I could actually do that one without But say I was one off. Say I didn't realize that I could add the one. I'm thinking multiply the one. So if I got to 44, I could always use this to add one or subtract one. So I could take this zombie strength to a 44, or if I was getting to a 46, I could up or down one. So each of these things has a particular power that then makes it a little bit easier to use. Once you've used those cards, they go down. And you just keep doing this until you've either won or you've depleted the deck, in which case you've lost. And take your time. If you have won, see how long it took you to win, and then try and beat your time the next time. So as I said this before in the review of the game, this can be played on a solo mode or cooperatively up to 6 players. Although I think, as I said, 6 players might be a bit unwieldy for a game this size, but certainly give it a try. And ThinkNoodle has made how-to-play videos for all of these modes of Times Square. So be sure to check them out because they do a much better job of explaining the rules to these games than I've done. I'm just trying to give you a quick overview here. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. If you have any questions about Times Square or the City of Zombies, or if you have any other recommendations for games you might like to see, or topics you might like me to cover, please leave me a message in the comment section below. I do love to hear from the viewers. Until next time, I'm Craig Thompson-Wood, the board game teacher, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school with me?